Hi, this is Anand Sharma from CXOTV.news, a flagship brand under the umbrella of Techplus Media Group. A warm hello and welcome to everybody, and especially the first edition of Marketing Mondays in 2020. So, Happy New Year to you all. 2022 happens to be the third year of our webinar series titled Marketing Mondays. And as I said, today is the first session of this year. We have titled today's discussion on digital marketing, the changing landscape. With the pandemic dictating our workspace and lives as well, more and more reliance is now on virtual reach out, be it employees or be it customers. For fellow marketeers, digital marketing has been the go-to person in these days or since the last two years or so. Let us discover what sort of opportunities, challenges it has for us, and how to capitalize or leverage it to its fullest. We have an esteemed panel today to share their insights from 2021, its learnings, and how it has made us stronger and wiser to achieve our goals in 22. Let me request them to do a self-introduction. Going by the alphabetical order, we have Ankesh Kumar, Director of Global Strategic Marketing at Schneider Electric. We have Nikhil Dudwadkar, Head of Marketing at Kaspersky. And we have Ms. Reshma Murthy, Senior Marketing Manager at Colt Technology Services. Ankesh, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, this is Ankesh Kumar. I work for Schneider Electric and I am part of a secure power division of Schneider Electric, and I lead global marketing, global strategic marketing for CNI business within secure power division. Very happy to see you all over again. I was in part of some of those marketing Mondays. So very glad to be a part of first marketing Mondays of 2022.
Thank you, Ankesh, and welcome again. Nikhil, do you want to go next?
Hi, this is Nikhil Dudwadkar. I'm head of marketing for Kaspersky, which is a cybersecurity company. I take care of the GTM marketing for Kaspersky's B2B and B2C portfolio for South Asia, which includes India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal. I have been with Kaspersky for over 3.5 years and have experience of about more than 19 years in this industry with IT. This is my first Marketing Monday with Techplus Media, and I thank Techplus Media for this opportunity today. I hope I can share a lot of details, a lot of knowledge with the esteemed participants today. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikhil, and welcome at the show. Reshma, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, everyone. Nice to meet all of you. My name is Reshma Murthy. I'm based out of Singapore, and I work for this company called Colt, the City of London Telecom. I've been with them for about 5 years now, and I head up Asia marketing, which includes Singapore, Hong Kong, as well as Japan. And I've been in this industry mostly for about 2 decades now, and I've been into various departments like customer service, product marketing, inside sales, and then finally into marketing. And thank you for having me here, and hopefully we can all learn something at this event today.
Absolutely, Reshma. Thank you once again for joining. Guys, I'm delighted and honored to host such an elite panel today. Let me give the disclaimer. The thoughts exchanged on this platform by the panelists are their own and may not represent the organization they work with or work for. Thank you, Ankesh, Nikhil, and Reshma once again. So as per the topic, some of the most popular channels of digital marketing, apart from social media marketing, are search engine optimization, content marketing, blogging, email marketing, affiliate marketing, pay-per-click advertising, instant messaging, WhatsApp or whatnot, video marketing, influencer marketing, and so on and so forth. Without spending much time on context setting, let me quickly jump onto my questions. Ankesh, coming to you, how 2021 has been? How would you define the digital marketing strategy for 22?
Okay, 2021 was, interestingly, when we started, we were quite optimistic because the cases were going down. We thought we are completely over the deadly second wave. In a lot of countries, it was third and fourth wave. And there was a vaccination. And the office started opening up in a hybrid mode and all. So we were quite, positive and optimistic about it. And also, we our budget, we had in 2021, the marketing, most of the marketing had budget cuts and all, and we were hoping in 2021 we would like to do face-to-face event, more of the offline, because we were seeing a lot of digital fatigue and all those things which was going on in 2020. But then again, during the Q2, which is March, April, May, we got hit by a very deadly second wave. And then, and then there was a huge challenge of how we can still continue with the webinars and all, because customer was, the kind of attendance and responses what we got in 2020, we saw that's dwindling in 2021 because of digital fatigue and all. Then there was another issue of supply chain. Even if we had some products to launch, some to introduce, but then there was no supply chain, there was no material coming and all. And then because of the second wave, we decided let's not do marketing, because when the people are, their loved one are dying, they are in distress. How can you do marketing? How can you try to sell your product or reach out to the customers? So all those things was really big challenge for 2021. In fact, if you ask me, for me, 2021 was more challenging than 2020. And so that's why we thought that, okay, the only hope is here is again digital marketing, but we have to do things differently. We can't do the same thing what we did in 2020. So we started measuring things which we used to use as a jargon in digital marketing. We used to say all these, Gyan sessions and all, engagement rate and all. We thought that this really matters. That we really need to relook into it and how we can improve further, because that was the only thing left to us to do. Things like MAU, which is a monthly active user, how much monthly active user you have on your website from your customer's point of view or from your partner's point of view. And then marketable contacts, how much marketable contacts you have in terms of, even if you have maybe tens of thousands of contacts, but is all the contacts are marketable? How can we make them more marketable? Content enrichment, how we can unleash those contacts by putting proper designations, proper job codes and all those things and all. So because these were the hygiene, and we focus more on the hygiene, how we can fix on this, because this was the opportunity, a window to us, so that we can fix these hygiene so that we can do better marketing. And then from the marketing perspective, we thought that let's not talk more about the product or tactics, talk more about the thought leadership. Some of the very few things which we tried in the B2B foray was influencer marketing, how we can have an influencer marketing to help SMB customers and some of those B2B customers. And again, digital driven things like ABM. Once you do all these hygiene, then again, you kind of improve your ABM, intent-based marketing, building digital community. So these are the things which we focused, and some of things really resulted well. Some of the things given us a very great learning. So this was my overall, it was a bumpy ride. There are a lot of things first we were doing trial and error kind of thing, whatever works or whatever doesn't work. But we wanted to do something more different than what we did last year. We slowed down on our webinars and all, because that we already overrun. In 2020, everyone overrun the webinar, and also we thought that how we can do more smart and more quality-based marketing rather than just sending mails or sending digital web invites or web events. So these are the overall nutshell that I saw 2021 in overall.
And thanks for sharing the insights on MAU and marketable contacts and influencer marketing and so on and so forth. Nikhil, coming to you, with customer being the king, and the king is always mobile now, right? How would you define, when I say mobile, it doesn't only mean physical movement, but also, you can switch from one country to another content at the tap of a finger, right? How do you define your digital marketing strategy?
So, Anand, it's a known truth now that due to the pandemic, due to the change in dynamics of how consumer is consuming the content, where largely the content consumption was bifurcated into various channels, and some of these channels, be the most affected were the newsprint, also the TV media. Customer has moved largely to the mobile content consumption, right? So obviously it's a known truth that all the marketers had to shift their thought, their strategy to reaching customers online. Coming to your question first, we have to really define what the mobile strategy, the digital strategy on the mobile should be. Is earlier we used to really look at the digital marketing into three ways. One is the online marketing, which is a pure your digital banners or SEO, SEM, all of that stuff, which goes into that segment. The other is the mobile marketing, which is a physical mobile devices, how to reach to these customers through the mobile devices. And the third one was the social media marketing, right? In last 2 years, we have seen that all of these vehicles are coming onto a device-based market, which is primarily consumers moving from the other traditional channels to the mobile consumption. And that kind of consumption we are seeing very high through the mobile. One of the examples that I can give is we have done a lot of virtual events. I'm sure everybody was getting into the Zoom meetings or Zoom virtual events. There were no physical events. And that learning has given us a changing landscape also in terms of how we reach out to these customers, because we have seen there are so many invites, so many things that are coming to these customers, but the right effective method that we got on customers joining sessions is through the WhatsApp, right? While we were able to reach to them through online marketing, through social media, through B2B social media, but when we reached out to them through WhatsApp invites or WhatsApp registrations, we saw the huge spike in terms of registrations that are coming. So we have to really understand how the consumer is going to consume this content, and based on that, we have to define our strategy very effectively. And depends upon what kind of marketing activity that you're doing, be it a B2B or a B2C. One of the examples that I can give for a B2C is where when we call our customers also our retail channels, right? So one of the things that we really faced is how to reach out to these retail channel customers. When I'm talking about retail channels, are resellers. They were shut shops. They were looking forward for the brand, how we can help them. But reaching out to them with a strategy, with a plan, to helping them is also to trying to reach to them digitally. What we did is, one of the things that I did successfully last year is we created a complete loyalty program based program on the mobile app. So it all depends upon how your customer is consuming the content, where you can find him, reach him, and based on that, I think you can change the customer strategy. So this is what I feel is each marketer has to look at who are your customers, what kind of content they are consuming, how to reach them, and what is their objective. Based on them, basically, you can really try to create a strategy. One thing that I think everybody has to understand is digital marketing is user-driven content, right? And not mainly the marketing driven. And this is where the digital marketing is changing today. It is changing towards a user-driven strategy than a marketing completely driven by marketing strategy. So if you keep it in mind, you'll be able to get your right results in terms of choosing the right strategy for consumers.
Sure, makes sense. No, I can resonate as to you need to tune your marketing strategy as per where your potential target customers are, right? Absolutely. Reshma, can you share more from APAC perspective as to how do you see the digital marketing landscape changing?
Sure. I think as Ankesh and Nikhil mentioned, I think everywhere is the same issue wherein, we had to, being marketers, we had to really switch over from, non-online to online mode. And then there were so many various rapid changes that we need to take care of and to be relevant in the industry, right? So I think a few things that I can really think of, I think number one is online engagement. So I think marketers now are constantly looking out on how can this online engagement be improved, be it videos, be it, websites, content, blogs, all this to create online awareness. And certainly, I think virtual strategy will be always a part of the omni-channel strategy when we do our planning. I think that's one. And second thing is a lot of interactive content needs to be relevant, in terms of when we do any kind of activities for our viewers. Moving on from online engagement, I think SEO, I think that has really played a huge key, to make sure that our websites are optimized, to ensure that the keywords that our customers are probably searching for, we always remain on top. So that is one, I think, that will continue and probably be improved. The other part is, of course, social media on the rise, like Nikhil mentioned, I think. We have LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, and the new Clubhouse. I'm not sure how many of you are in there. I think there's a constant increase there as well, where marketers are looking for new channels wherein we can kind of promote our services. Another thing I would want to say is probably moving forward, people are looking at data-driven marketing, wherein we just don't shoot the gun everywhere. We ensure properly study our customer, where our customers are, what kind of things are they looking at, and then target them appropriately. So you have your automation, AI and machine learning becoming more prevalent. So I think marketers will use more and more of this to ensure that data-driven marketing is taken care of. And obviously, mobile commerce being on the rise, we have to make sure that our website content is mobile friendly, so that when customers are viewing, information is rightly positioned. And one more thing would be live streaming. I think people are moving, like today. I've seen LinkedIn as well doing live streaming for B2B. So I think that would also be something of the future. But and I believe live streaming is predicted, that industry is predicted to reach about 184.3 billion by 2027. So I think that is something really that marketers will probably look at. And of course, video, people wanting to hear or watch more videos than probably reading a blog, so video content will rise. And I think finally, I would say green marketing or sustainable marketing. I think that is again something that people are looking to be more sustainable. At least in my company, we're trying to look out for sustainable ways where we can do activities or use of recycled renewable materials, to make sure that we stay relevant in the industries. So I think these are some of the key things that people will want to look out for.
Interesting. I'll come back to you on the sustainable part of marketing as to how you can introduce that, but that would be later. That's interesting. Coming back to Ankesh, we always have heard or said content is the king. And in this era of information explosion, how are you ensuring that the relevant content is reaching the right audience and at low cost?
Yes, I know. I know this is a very, say, data is a new oil, content is a king. These are the statements which we keep on hearing. And then I feel there is too much of abundance of content also. So, and because there are so much of stuff is floating around, and sometimes it confuses people. But this time, I believe, this is my personal belief, and also this is the belief of my organizations, that this COVID or this Corona or this crisis have told us we need to tune the content as per our situation. Usually if you see, most of the marketing content is very thought leadership, very celebratory. We always celebrate ourselves. We are number one. We are best. That's typical with every organizations. And how we are much better and all those things, So when we realize that, this is the time we have to, and that's what we did in 2020. And we also worked on 2021, that how we can bring more humility based on the current time. Instead of focusing on how our products and services are better, focus on how we can help customers and partners in this particular situation. So that, instead of, they coming say, okay, you know what, I want to buy something from you where you will get ROI in 2 years and this and that. We thought that, okay, you are in this situation right now. How we can help you better, how we can help you manage that. It was more of the questions rather than we are preaching something what we are doing. So we completely changed the way we want to focus. And then we realized that the only way we can do it if we divide our content or focus on content based on the segment and persona. And this is true for entire Schneider Electric. Our entire marketing focus is either to certain segments, some of our key segments, which is like, cloud and service provider. It could be a consumer packaged good. It could be a, oil and gas and all. And then personas, which could be your IT professional or data center professionals or facility heads, or IT solution providers, or contractors, or panel builders. So these are the personas. So how we can, because each personas are different, each segments are different, so we have to design our content more. And more about awareness and more about how we are better. We focus on educating them, how and mostly to our partners, how they can, in this time they can help their customer. We provided a lot of contents to our partners so that they can go to their customers and market them as per the needs. And also we also focus more on the compliance part, which is GDPR, because we realized that people started receiving a lot of communication, because now everything become digital now. Me, I'm not even in the industry as a purchase guy and everything. Of course, I'm in marketing, but I receive, like, when I see my mailbox in the morning, I see there are 200 emails, out of which around 50-60% are just some marketing mails, some webinar invitations and everything. So we focused on, we have to be more stringent on our GDPR. We should only send people those who are really looking out for the content. And also we little bit shifted focus from the paid media. We focus more on the owned and earned media, because they are the one which is much more engaged and we can do much more education over there. And then we focus on the software part, software part, which is a customer story. How in this kind of situation we help customers, partners testimonials, how some of the partners in these situations help their customers. Videos, more Reshma talked about. We talked more about the videos rather than the blogs or too much of training content. How to do some of the virtual demo which has worked. So I think this is a mix and match of both. But again, it needs to be laser focused. It should not be bombarded. And it should be in tune with the time. Today, if I say I'm the best in my products and services, it doesn't mean anything. When people are struggling, especially IT industry, in fact, I was telling somebody, we thank healthcare professionals or front warrior, but real people who really made this, COVID tolerable or survival, be it medical field, be it it's IT people. We are the backbone. We are the one who completely, overnight we changed working from home and everything. It was the data centers professional, it was the IT professional. They did their job. So we started working on how we can recognize them, their effort, because nobody's talking about that. People are talking about cops, or people talking about your municipal corporation worker or health workers, but each one of them is supported by IT system. So something more about how we can make them feel better about it. So this was our overall strategy. And then that's where though content is a king, but then king also can't be like a king, one rule for everyone. You have to have different people. You have to treat different people, different persona segment in a different way.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you so much, Ankesh. Very valid points, and I totally agree that so much of yes, undoubtedly, these people did a great job. Whether it is healthcare professionals, or whether it is other support staff, but then they were all supported by a robust IT infrastructure, which could perhaps give a very accurate estimate as to how many people have been hospitalized and how many oxygen cylinders have been moved from X to Y location, so on and so forth, right? So nice thought, Ankesh. Thank you for that. Okay. Cool. Moving on to my next question, Nikhil. From a B2B perspective, which are the tools that are best to put to use, and why do you think so? You can be prescriptive. I don't mind.
Yeah. So tools for B2B perspective, there are largely a lot of tools that a lot of marketers are using, very common. But I would talk about tools which are very tactical, which basically helps you measure your ROI stuff and all that. I will also add things that is beyond a tactical tool, because what has helped us learn in this time is a lot of things are beyond the tool. You need to really measure stuff that what's your brand is going through. So on a very specific to ROI or a KPI perspective, I think everybody is aware of Marketo or Adobe Analytics. I would always recommend. Obviously all the marketers will be using Marketo, which also easily synchronizes with the Salesforce and stuff and all that, right? Because that is a basic lot of, and it's not that probably the best tool, but this is something that I quite believe and use in most of my organization. And as B2B marketers, we primarily look at MQL, SQL, conversions, consideration, all of that stuff. And this is where, as a marketer, it helps us to showcase our marketing investment into ROI. So these are your basic tools. Apart from that, your email marketing tools like Sugar CRM or any other email marketing good tool is good. What has also come very recently in a help is how the webinar tools have evolved. Right? Earlier, I know in old days we used to have WebEx or even GoToWebinar and stuff that we've used. They largely were used to drive online meetings, online workshop, but these tools have also evolved into measuring, also integrating with all your analytics tools to measure the customer scores, whether they have attended a webinar or not, how often they have used or how much they have downloaded their white paper and stuff and all that. I think these has become and evolved. These tools have evolved a lot. So these are the things that definitely help. This primarily comes into your lead gen or a sales, but also at the same time, you also need to have engagement tools. Like I've not used the Sprout Social, but you need to have some kind of tools that really gives you a measurement on your social media engagements. And basically coming to, I always recommend all of the marketers that the first thing first on the social media engagement that you really need to measure is first you have to be part of that social media platforms, very active. The best way of measuring your B2B engagement is first you have to observe how things are happening. Like for example, when I shared the today's webinar on my LinkedIn, I was like really checking who's watching, who's liking, have people seen this that I'm going to present today, whether you are very active on Twitter, what are your users talking to you about your brand. So as a marketer, you also have to be part of these tools. So I again call these tools as tools. Your social media platforms are also tools where you need to keep on watching. You should randomly check on, maybe on a part of LinkedIn, check how many mentions that are happening, who's doing the mentions on your about your brand. So I think apart from tools that give you a ready-made analytics, be it a Google or a YouTube or anything, you also need to be part of the social media circle where you start measuring and see what's happening. I would say, as we are talking about how the digital landscape has changed, your B2B customers, earlier days we used to see social media or a time when your customers are on Saturday, Sunday. We usually never often used to find anything coming out on the weekends. But today, your consumers are always online. Obviously, a study, everybody knows that we are almost 7 to 8 hours on a phone or online in these times, right? So you can always target your B2B customers also through these social channels, even on the time that they are consuming their personal content, right? So all of this comes into picture of which tools that you are going to use. And you can always use the social media, be it a Instagram or a Facebook, to even start targeting your B2B content over the time when the consumer is there. And you actually can target on a corporate network when they are actually on their office time. So all of these things depends upon what tools that you're using. I think some of the tools that I mentioned are something that you always can try out, Marketo or Adobe or anything.
Sorry, what was the other one you said after Marketo?
One was a Sprout Social, which is a social media tool, right? So
sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Ankesh, you want to add something to this or anything else you want to capture on this?
Yeah, I think Nikhil covered everything, and I think I think it's more than tools. It's more about, again, it starts with whether if your source is right, then all these tools are helpful, and tools are available literally. From whatever price range you want to the whatever complicated you want to go more enterprise level. Even for the small company which has with a smaller budget, with a higher budget, all sort of tools today are available. from best of the organizations like Marketo comes from Adobe, there are tools from Oracle, there are tools from Microsoft. But again, everything I feel that, and that's where we work, and it is difficult task, how we go with our legacy system and legacy data, do more about the more enrichment of our data, quality of data, because eventually all these tools will give the result. It's like garbage in and garbage out. If you provide them better quality data, you will get the better quality output. And I believe Nikhil covered it very well.
Absolutely with you. Absolutely with you. Cool. Coming back to my next question to you, Reshma, and you can add to the tools stuff because I'm quite interested to know as to what's happening in the market. Being from the services background, what sort of digital marketing, okay, it's also again a tool, you utilize and what sort of results it has been yielding?
Sure. Thanks. I just wanted to add on to the tool part. I think for us marketers, what happens is our main key focus is at every step, how can we, engage the customers, what is a different way. So I think there are enough tools there in the market. It's just that, how well we can use it and how well we can engage the customer at each point of, of the buyer's journey, basically. So I think when I'm going to talk about the various tools that I'm aware of, what happens is, of course, we have different departments taking care of different content, right? So, or different activities. So I think to start off with probably is content, right? Because that is, or the website that comes up. So I think in terms of content, a few of the names that I've heard of is you have Feedly, you have Buffer, you have BuzzSumo. So all these kind of help you with content. So when I say content, this is mostly what happens is these kind of tools kind of help you. What could some of the topics for your blog be? So this is very interesting, as in, you key in some of the keywords that you want to use, and you'll have a whole list of, headers or topics that comes out that probably customers would be more interested to read. So I'm sure, I think I advise the viewers to go and probably take a look at this. And then comes in, of course, the design. So you have this tool called Canva, I think, which is quite well used. Then moving on to, of course, once content and design is ready, we move on to email automation. For email automation, we use HubSpot, and I think it integrates very well with various CRM tools. And what HubSpot you can do is create emails. You can create landing pages, and it also allows you to kind of send emails at different times to different audiences. And you can have that kind of a various audience segmentation. And of course, other ones are your Eloqua, I think, Marketo, that I think Nikhil mentioned, MailChimp. So what I would say is they're enough, but it's just that how much can you pay, and then, at what extent do you want to go? Then there's another one recently I've heard of is, I'm not sure if you've heard of, called Triblio. So I think Triblio kind of does IP-based advertising, where you can very segment target based on the website or the IP address of the particular customer. You can target them banners or blogs or whatever. And then, of course, moving on to SEO, you have your Google Analytics. And if you move on to social platform, of course, I think we covered LinkedIn. You have Twitter. I'm not sure if you've heard of Everyone Social, which is kind of an enablement for sales. You can kind of pre-put in the content or the content for LinkedIn, and then that can come out every day or every month. And then, of course, Instagram. But again, Instagram, not so much for B2B as such. And I think for webinars, there's On24, which we use quite a bit, quite happy with On24. And you have Zoom, of course. And again, I think those have been a lifesavers for all us to kind of get people together for webinars. And I think another one I would like to bring up is called HG Insights and Moro. So these are basically to understand customers' buying behavior as well as the intent to buy. So there are these kind of tools where you can go in and check, okay, how much is the customer spending on what particular kind of a software? And then from there, what are they intending to buy? So actually put that together. That's where I was talking about data-driven marketing. You get all this information from various parties, and then you kind of put it down together, segment your base, and then you can go out and approach your customers. So yeah, those are some of the tools that I wanted to talk about.
Perfect. That's perfect, Reshma. Thank you so much. Great insights. Because of course every company or every organization has a different sort of approach towards what sort of tools we need to utilize. Okay. Moving back to my last set of questions, and that comes to you, Ankesh. What sort of technology interventions you can recommend to take the digital marketing a notch above in 22?
Yeah, good question. Actually, if you see, the digital marketing itself sits on a basic core of technology, and it keeps on changing. A lot of youngsters, they ask me, what sort of course or what sort of certification they should do in digital marketing. And I always say that, what, the moment you are certified by something in 6 months, that technology is old. It's keep on changing, it keeps on evolving. So I always say, the basic fundamental of marketing remains same. So you have to reach out to the customer and you have different vehicle. The only thing is that how you're going to measure it more effectively, how you can become more efficient. And that's where technology becomes much more critical. And that's where we call it something, marketing, whenever marketing does something, they need to name it. So we name it as a marketing of the future. And when we see it's then we see already it's happening. When ABM started in a very offline manner, nobody imagined 4 or 5 years back that there will be high account-based marketing. And for example, our customers are the big cloud and service providers like Entity of the World or Colt or Equinox and all those people. And we realize that we do some sort of ABM with them, and then we kind of get the intent and then pass it on to the sales, put some score, pass it on the sales team, and then a lot of lead which marketing generates, which was not even the purview of the sales team, which is quite strongly engaged with those big accounts. User experience is changing. The technology, the way user experience is changing. I think Nikhil mentioned somewhere. It's digital technology is more user driven. So if no matter what kind of best SEO you have or tools you have, if a user is coming to your website is not finding answer in a much more easier way they are looking, or in your mobile technology, the way they are playing everything, people are searching mobile. So that's again, driving more about how you can provide the information much more faster and much more concise way, so that the user experience, and it keeps on changing. And bringing to all these startups, the kind of amazing user experience they started giving. If as a big enterprise company, which if you're not providing, your customer is going to go away somewhere else. And then a lot of automation tools, which Nikhil already touched about. Something which is happening like, virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and machine learning, and it is affecting marketing quite much. We already started seeing, there's a lot of discussions happening about the metaverse. And Microsoft has already started working. I personally feel more than Facebook, it will be Microsoft which will benefit from the metaverse, because they are going to introduce this metaverse concept in enterprise marketing. Just imagine, the kind of today we are talking about offline event and online event. When those kind of things comes in place, you can imagine the user experience of literally be part of a virtual event, but as feeling you are in the real world. And then I think from the paid media and all the technology which is changing is a pragmatic advertising. It was already there in place, but now it is gaining more momentum because now people want more focus. E-commerce is another thing which is driving. And when I say e-commerce, it's not only B2C. Now most of the large organizations through their partner networks and everything trying to see how a customer can negotiate, put some sort of configuration tools and everything, and do a lot of e-commerce things. So these are one of the major things. And from the marketing point of view, what we see a lot of things which is happening earlier, which we never used to do. Something like VLCR, like valid lead conversion ratio or hit rate. How much hit rates we have. How we can accelerate the pipeline. If in your pipeline, if there are some opportunity and some sales stage, how we can do some marketing activity with those contacts so that that sales stage can get accelerated. So these are the things which can only be done through technology. And I think Nikhil covered most of the point. Also, Reshma listed out most of the tools which helps, like Marketo of the world and Bombora, which is intent-based marketing and all. So now I think the analytical tools might become much more important to make smarter decisions, so that engagement rate means different for different organizations. So first you have to set out what is your objective, what is your how you want to measure your success and everything, and those things can only possible through these technological influence which is happening in the marketing. Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely, Ankesh. Thank you so much. That was quite interesting and knowledgeable to hear from you. Thank you, Nikhil. We always talk about as to what we should do, but we should also talk about the don'ts of the thing, right? So, what are the pitfalls of digital marketing? What precautions one should take?
One thing that I mean, uh, these mistakes that most of the marketers would do would change over time. We will never be perfect in digital marketing, as Ankesh rightly mentioned. The technology is evolving, so every time one has to update, make aware of new technologies. At the same time, what is evolved today is, and this is what one of the mantra that I want to tell marketers is, the content is no more the same. The content piece, and we spoke a lot about content today, is that content has become shorter, right? And in terms of B2B marketing, also it has become shorter. I mean, look at, you Google something today. Even Google has started giving snippets of whatever you want to know at the first, and then probably go to the various searches. So today, right from the video, from a 5-minute, 6-minute video has come to a 10-second video. The consumers, volume of consuming the content has increased, but consuming each piece of that content, has shortened. So be it even the text content. So first thing that one should avoid is making the longer content at the start of uh, taking into the consideration. The second thing that I believe is, and this has been for a longer duration now, is really defining what is a lead, right? Digital marketing, as I know, for last 5-6 years back, the lead definition has always been a contradictory between the vendors and the brands. For us, the lead is, which is really baked opportunity, or somewhere there is some kind of consideration, or customer is really interested, but a lead definition by the vendor who's actually, or the tool that is actually providing us, is a very different. It is just maybe somebody has just clicked something or something. So there has to be a real clear agreement in terms of how you define your outcome, right? So this is something that will still remain, whether the tool evolves or everything evolves. And the last thing, I believe, is, do not plan your any activities, anything, without a proper KPI, at least the KPI. While saying this, because as Ankesh mentioned, influencer marketing is something that is growing very rapidly, and I see a lot of marketers really fall under this kind of marketing engagement very quick, and that is where right now it really needs to mature a lot. You can get fake followers or fake data or fudged information in influencer marketing. It's very easy to do that. So you really need to define how you really want to drive that particular. For example, influencer marketing, I believe today, is largely awareness driven, or at least to a consideration level, or a remarketing engine. If you really jump into it as a sales driven activity right now, I would say, hold on your thoughts, right? So you need to really define what your KPI is for each different activities clearly. And if you really are looking at a sales driven approach, then really pick up and choose your right tools or right tactics. So these are the things that a marketer needs to really take care before, otherwise it is going to be a lot mistake for you. That is what I think are the top things on my mind.
Thank you, Nikhil. Uh, that was very interesting and important. Many times, a lot of challenges between a vendor or a customer happens because KPIs are not well defined, right? When one person feels that, oh, I've done so much, and then the loop starts, right? So cool. Coming back to my next question, Reshma, to you. From so many different tools of digital marketing, like and we discussed For everything, we have hundreds of things. Any vendors that come to your mind who provide end-to-end services for all the stuff like pay-per-click advertising or video marketing or influencer marketing? Because they are very quite fragmented, right? And you end up interacting with a lot many people.
Yeah, thanks. So I think what I would say is there's a whole lot of vendors out there in the market who actually provide end-to-end services, again, based on a budget. And this will also depend on which country or, or province you are. So basically, because it could be something different in India versus Singapore, Hong Kong. So what I would like to really say is look out for your local agency, probably, to take care of this, because it also makes it easier for us to then, give our list of activities, what we want to do to their agency, and then they can probably plan it properly. Because why I'm saying this is there's a whole lot of assets or aspects to take care of, right? You have the website content, you'll probably have your blogs to be created, you'll have EDMs, you'll have promotional landing pages. Where do you want to then promote this content? What websites you want to promote it to? Then you'll have your SEOs, you will have your videos. So what I'm saying is there's a whole lot of aspects to take care. So it's very hard to really find any particular companies. So I think you'll have to look at your local vendors and then probably go and get that information from them.
Sure. Any closing notes, any wrapping up thoughts from your end, Reshma, to the audience who's watching us live on YouTube and Facebook?
Yeah, I think what I would say is, again, this is for us marketing. I think it's again a very trial and error, because we're also learning. I think, like Ankesh mentioned, by the time you learn a new tool, there's another 100 more tools that come up. So we are also constantly learning, and I think the interesting part is how we learn these tools and then make use of this into our work. That is more interesting. So it is a constant evolving process, and it will be a while really we kind of really pin down on particular any kind of various tools. So I think it's ultimately a trial and error, and hopefully with this we can kind of engage our customers better.
Sure. Ankesh, any closing notes from your end, Ankesh?
Yeah, I think we really kind of covered all aspects for it. I really can't think of anything more to add. But I think, yeah, again, what you mentioned, that be sharp focused, be vigilant, and as Nikhil mentioned, the KPI is very important. But sometimes also we get bury ourselves in KPI. So, a lot of, for example, when I started this, it was little B2C marketing for Schneider Electric, for work from home UPS, and earlier we wanted to have a very quick KPI, the way we link with the B2B, but then we realized in B2C is a little bit different. It's more about, and we saw the result. Sometimes you need to be patient also when you're trying new things. If things are not working, you should, I think, give it a little time, because then only you will learn. It's always good to do something, even if it's not being successful. At least you learn that why it's not being successful, so that next time you don't repeat it. So I think be more patient and be more objective wise. In terms of KPIs, every time, I know everyone say that ROI or immediate sales and everything. A lot of time, especially in B2B, the gestation period is long. Maybe, a lot of time I debate this, when you say how much marketing influence order you have generated, I always say, what, even if I get you leads, but if you don't have material, if you don't have pricing right, if you don't have a lot of other things right, you can't do that. So my job is also to, bring you the market sales qualified lead, where the sales says, yes, there is an opportunity. Yes, we can take it further. And then, it depends on various other factors. Also, a lot of time, don't beat around yourself if it is not happening. Things are very uncertain. It's not like 10% growth over last year and over the last year, because things around are very uncertain. So even everyone understand that. So you need to be really more patient, more vigilant, see what's happening. I think a lot of best cases around, best practices around, keep reading all those things and try to see what best you can do.
Absolutely. Very valid, Ankesh. Nikhil, wrapping up notes, thoughts.
I think good point from Reshma and Ankesh. I like both of the points that you mentioned. especially Ankesh mentioned about being patient. So I'll emphasize on that. Is one thing that I've learned is even digital marketing, although it's a very effective medium right now to the behavior, to the consumer touch point we can track, but it also requires time. So what I've learned is, if, for example, you are putting your hands into some new kind of a campaign or new kind of a tool or new kind of strategy, do not expect it to give results immediately. At least do not expect. If it gives, it's great, but always have a strategy for at least 6+3 or 6+6 kind of a plan for any kind of a strategy. You can always change the content. You can always do the A or B kind of advertising, or you can always try different things with to make it more better, the more optimum strategy. But do not do a one-off activities in a digital marketing and just see what things go. Give it a time for over a sustainable period. It will definitely give a results.
That's perhaps one of the most important pieces of advice, Nikhil, that yes, it's not a magic wand that, today you wave the wand and tomorrow the dollars would start pouring in. So thank you so much. I've taken my notes, but today I'm not repeating it because it's very nicely wrapped up by Ankesh, Reshma, and Nikhil. So thank you once again, guys. I thank all the panelists, all three of you, and each of one of you who's watching us live right now. Hope you liked the event as much as I did. Okay. You can watch the past Marketing Monday sessions on www.CXOTV.news. Keep watching for more interesting upcoming session under Marketing Mondays. I wish you all a very happy new year looking forward, and stay safe, stay indoors. I don't know how long we'll need to stay indoors. Cheers and bye-bye. Thank you once again.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.